Podcast City Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Deathmatch Russell Podcast. Let's get it on!
Come into the ring, step into the fire, see what you want, baby. If your heart has desire, get out, get knocked down. Deathmatch Russell Podcast, Deathmatch Russell Podcast, Deathmatch Russell Podcast.
Good evening, everyone, and you're listening to another episode of the Deathmatch Russell Podcast. And my guest tonight, he's a painter, he's a wrestler, the one and only Davey Painting. How are you?
Good. Thank you for having me. Thank you so much. It's been a long time coming since we've been trying to put this together.
Yeah, right. I know it's been quite some time, and finally we're doing it. Get it over with, right?
Yeah, right.
But anyway, how you doing? Pretty good.
Yeah, been working hard. Working on a canvas as we speak for an upcoming GCW weekend. So that I feel like I'm always doing that though.
Yes, that's like your masterpiece right there. Like like your piece that you're just so proud of because it looks so beautiful. Like when you look down on the ground at the canvas and like inside the ring. People don't realize. You know what I mean?
I always wonder if like the wrestlers get in the ring and kind of like before the show when they're just feeling things out, and if they look down and they're just like, oh, that's pretty cool. But
and plus you painted my logo, which looked really cool way back. That was a pretty cool challenge, right?
I think that was like one of my first GCW canvases that I did for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was really a cool. You got sponsors, and like you were like, oh, let's put their artwork right on canvas.
Yeah, and it's fun because it feels like I'm doing a piece of art for like every sponsor that I do. So it's like I'm doing this whole canvas for GCW and the event and everything, but then I'm doing these individual artistic pieces that'll stand out, and just people don't even really look at the mat. They just pay attention to the ring, just pay attention to the show. But anyway, what got you into wrestling as a kid? Let's start the old journey of wrestling. And I was thinking about it the other day, actually. I forget what made it pop into my mind, but I just remember like walking by a TV at my aunt's house and just seeing like I want to say it was Macho Man on the screen. It was something that like I didn't pay attention to. I didn't like stop and like watch the show or whatever it was, but like I could like visually, maybe it's something I've implanted in my own head. Who knows? But like I just remember walking by and like feeling something from that, and like I think it was maybe like when I was 9 years old when like I really got into it and started watching it like every week and stuff. But from an early age, there was something in my head that made me fall in love with it. Yeah,
and just see, from the mid when wrestling was wrestling, really just think about it.
It felt special. I felt the majesty of it all.
And then you decided, okay, I'm going to be a wrestler, right?
It took a couple of years, but me and my cousin, we would like backyard wrestle, very not taking it seriously, just kind of like slamming each other on Fisher Price tables and stuff. But then as a teenager, me and my friend group, we all loved wrestling, and so we started taking backyard wrestling way more seriously. And we did, we built our own ring. We just practiced on making moves look good, not just hitting each other with stuff, and I feel like that was the start of me kind of understanding like maybe I could do this like as a performance and not just as a fan,
Yeah, it's a challenge. You're like, I'm going to challenge myself,
Right. And like everybody else was going to football practice and stuff, but like every Friday night was like everybody knew it was wrestling. So like every week we look forward to it. Like that was our thing. That was what we did to get everybody together once a week, just to sharing our friendship and our love for wrestling.
What was your first experience, as a fan going to a show? What was that like? Your first
I don't remember even my first show. My first big one was WrestleMania 11 in Hartford. And that might have been my first show, to be honest, because I don't remember going to one before that. Maybe a smaller high school show or something, but I was 9 years old, so I don't really remember going to one before that. But yeah, WrestleMania 11 with LT versus Bam Bam, Diesel versus Shawn. It's ranked as one of the worst WrestleManias, but for me, it was my first WrestleMania. It felt I had never been to an event like that.
That's like me, WrestleMania 5, Atlantic City. As a kid.
That was at the what's the name of the venue? That big one.
Trump Plaza. Yeah, Trump Plaza.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yes, because they had 4 and 5. Remember, there was a 4 WrestleMania 4. They did it also.
Yeah, that place AEW just ran in Jersey.
The convention center. They call it the convention center now.
Yeah, I love that venue.
Yeah, and not too far is the Showboat. where I go to a lot of where a lot of people attend the shows and stuff. And
I got to make my way back to the Showboat. I think I went to the first show they ever did there, and I loved it. It's so hard getting back east often these days,
Yeah, but it's worth it sometime.
Yeah,
you never know.
I come out for the special ones.
Yeah, I would have loved to have been there for TOS, but I already just got back from camping. I'm trying to save some money back up. You know how that is. Can't be everywhere, right? We could, as a fan, you can't travel.
I know we all want to be.
Think about it. Just think about it. You think about it. They're the only branch that goes to hard and travels.
Yeah,
really. People don't.
I was supposed to go to Vegas next week. My friend invited me because he was going to Double or Nothing, and he's from California, so I don't get to see him too often. And I just I really wanted to, especially once GCW announced their shows, and it feels like a big weekend down there. But I'm just doing too much. I got too much in my cards right now. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah, it's just so many shows that we want to be at. It's really they're even going to be in Rhode Island. I wish I knew about that because my dad's from that area, Westerly. So it's I could have gone.
That venue's the first ever venue I did a ring canvas. So for Beyond. That venue is one of my favorite venues in the country for sure.
Yeah, Rhode Island's getting seen for wrestling now, which is good. State by state though. And every state, we're good. It's starting to
there's good talent in that area.
Yes, there is.
And the good companies, you got Beyond, you got Limitless, NEW. Yeah, Northeast has some solid stuff.
Chaotic Wrestling.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I could list them for days. Yeah.
Yeah, Tiffany. Shout out to Tiffany, Queen of the Ring. Always talks about. She's always there. So
yeah, shout out to Tiff. Tiff's another great one.
She is. She puts her heart and soul to what she does and loves professional wrestling like we do.
Yeah,
it just
supports it. The support goes a long way. People.
It really does.
These companies aren't they don't have money. It's every show really could be the last show, and it's we're lucky we have so many independent companies that are on such a high level now. I was even thinking about this, back in the day, you'd go to an indie show and you'd be lucky to get one, maybe really solid match. They were just they weren't going out there to have the best matches or even have entertaining matches a lot, back when I was growing up going to indie shows. And now it's every match has the potential to steal the show.
It does, and people don't realize for I'll put it. My example is my local promotion is called Titan Championship Wrestling, run by with Steve Monster Mac. Shout out to him; he's a part of that.
Yeah, shout out to Mac big time.
But we picked up some talent that's just new talent to the crowd. Let people see who these people are.
Yeah,
bring some guys from AEW Dark who have been, just to get their stand light, and then people love them. We get people from Midwest to, all over the world,
A lot of
we,
the times it's the people have the talent, but they just haven't been showcasing it. So,
and then we makes it special about our company is also we have a women's division. We'll have a Goddesses of War. We'll have a whole women's tournament or just a show just to go out and showcase.
Yeah, nice.
It's always good. It is. You don't see that for ticket prices $30. Come on, you go see the show for $20. People sit there, can't afford it.
There's so many different factors into getting people to come to your show and what people want. And it's a tricky business.
And the wrestling buildings are beautiful, like VFW halls. Yep. Beautiful, like where I am. I'm on the East Coast, that's what we have. Elks Lodges and your community centers, or your like the baseball athletic buildings, or like those big stadiums with the bubbles, which is really cool. Or a police athletic league building,
Yeah. There's a place in Greenwich in Rhode Island. Beyonds were in there a few times. Forgetting the name of the place, but I love that building. It's a beautiful old historic building,
Yeah, I was in Jim Thorpe. I was at that Penn's Peak. Oh my God, that place is beautiful. On top of a mountain. Brett was like, "Nah, it's too much. Nobody would want to come to that." Just like the open theater. I saw Jim Brewer live.
That's cool.
I got to see him while I was there for a couple of days. I picked up tickets to win.
Nice. I've always thought of a wrestling match on top of a mountain, or with a nice nice stretching view behind it. That needs to be done. I'm surprised it hasn't been done more, because that would be a cool thing.
Yeah, out west, Denver, Colorado, or Colorado, or
I know.
Or wherever, wherever else, wherever the snow at. Vermont, you could go to Vermont, you could go to, wherever the high mountains are, Pennsylvania, Poconos, but nobody wants to travel. Nobody wants to travel to the Poconos. No, that's a tour. No, they want to just stay in their cabins.
Driving through Pennsylvania is a pain in the ass.
It sure is, but we're so used to it. But but where would you like? So let's talk about your paintings, Dave. You are so into painting, man. What got you, as a growing up, you just love to paint?
Yeah, that's something that came before wrestling. Even, I just feel like, I don't know if you're born an artist, or if it's just something you pick up when you're little. But yeah, I could, back to 2 years old, just having drawings that my parents saved. Just they were nothing at the time, but they were the start of me putting a marker to paper. And so yeah, that's just something that's been with me my whole life. I was always doing art contests in school, in elementary school, growing up. It's always been in me. Went to college, got my degree in graphic design, and then that just carried over into wrestling. Once I realized that I loved art and I loved wrestling, those were the two things I loved in life, and then I put them together, and that's when
it hits you. Yeah. You just like a Macho Man painting, or some sort of vision in your head. Yeah.
How do I take my art style and the craziness of my brain and mix it with the things I love? So yeah,
How about we go through these pictures on the slideshow that I made a cool new slideshow. But let's see, where are we? Uh-oh. I guess we're not on the picture. Hold on, Dave. Let me take this thing off of here. I hate this stupid stuff.
It's okay. I'm seeing the slideshow.
Are you seeing it? Yeah, it's supposed to be showing everybody, but all right, go ahead. You want to just we'll just do it. Start. I can't start this over, but
it's okay. So Keith Lee, with the painting I did for him, I do the graphics. I do the t-shirts for wrestlers. This is my personal stuff. So I try to do a little bit of everything. If I'm feeling something a certain day, if an event's coming up, and I do my Funkos too.
Those really stand out. I love those. I'm gonna have to get one off of you one of these days. I'll have to do that. I promise you.
Because those are something that just kind of landed in my lap too. When I first started doing my art and bringing it to shows, people just started noticing that I was doing it. And one day somebody brought me one of those Funkos, and I had never heard of them.
You know what? I still don't. I still never collected those. I never knew what they were and got involved. You know, that whole scene of Funko Pops when they first came around. I never knew what they were, and they're huge.
I've got so many myself now. I wouldn't say I collect them, but then like I've got some on my bookshelf now, so I guess I do collect them, but I only collect like wrestling ones. Like I've got the Marvel Luchadors, so just like the China one. I've got an Asuka one, ones that I like.
The Cactus Jacks of course.
So like the customizing just kind of like
came to you.
Once I did that first DIY one, I did El Generico, and then people were like, "Oh my god!" Like, there's Funkos of these wrestlers who they'll never make official ones. So, once I started doing those, it's part of my life. I've got 5 on my table right now, waiting to be done.
Who are you going to be working on? Who are you working on?
I'm working on a local New England guy. I'm not even sure if he wrestles too much anymore. I think so, but BMT, Brendan Michael Thomas. And then I'm doing somebody's little puppy, so I'm doing a custom puppy one.
Cool.
And then I'm doing another wrestler. Who I'm not sure where he's from. Actually, I just got that email yesterday. So yeah, it's cool. It's like I love getting messages from people, and they're like, "Oh, I want to surprise my partner with a custom pop," you know. And it's like thinking about them like opening up a box and seeing like themselves in toy form. Like I love the thought of that. So yeah, it brings me joy creating for people. It always has, and I think that's why it makes it easy to do this full time every day of my life, because I love it. I really do.
You got it, man. It's people are like, wow, man. It's like I see some of the stuff you're putting up, and it's like beautiful. Everybody's like, where's this guy? I got to recommend this guy. You know, like highly. You know, I tell people.
Your support and your retweets, like that means the world to me. So thank you very much for everything you
always done. You know, that's what friends do, right? We share the business, and you know, you were the first one to paint my logo on a canvas, and I think Brett never gave it to me yet. I still want that, Brett. No, it's probably in the storage somewhere.
I know. I thought about that too. I was like, I wonder where all these old canvases are. And what's going to be done with them? You know, like he should like slice those up and you know, take out some of the sponsor ones and maybe give those to you guys, but then you know, sell the canvas as like a collector's piece, because that's cool.
I think he's done that though. He's still cut some of the ones with blood. He's done that.
Yeah.
I know. On Facebook Live, he did that. He showed. You know, that was pretty creative.
Get people to sign it or something, maybe.
Yeah, and just take it back. You know. It's like those turnbuckles, you know. So, got it. Imagine if you had your own line of turnbuckles. Oh my god, that's something. Yeah.
I wish I could paint. I've been asked to paint the turnbuckles before and stuff, but
it's just so hard. Yeah,
too hard on that surface. You like those need to be embroidered like that.
Yeah, High Spots. Shout out to them, right? They did the best job. I think they did the best.
Shout out to High Spots for sure.
KG, you listening? You like that company too? You know, part. He was on that. I thought that was pretty cool.
How'd you get into wrestling when you were younger?
Just watching it as a kid. You know, sat in front of the TV every Saturday morning.
Yeah.
When wrestling was on TV, and just local wrestling, you know, I got lucky, and like my dad took me to local wrestling.
Nice.
And we had the Iron Mike Sharp had his wrestling school.
Yep.
In my town. So every Saturday night with my dad for $5, I'd go watch Iron Mike Sharp, Tito not Tito Santana. I see X-Pac as the 1-2-3 kid. Came through the door. Came through the door as a lightning kid. You know, Nova.
Yeah.
From ECW, because his brother. Fast forward, his brother ran a promotion in the 90s.
Okay.
Called Phoenix Championship Wrestling that really branched the independent scene of wrestling. Like I'll send you like a list of it. It's really cool.
Yeah,
like
I never knew that.
Yeah, it lasted a pretty long time. I got to see Eddie Guerrero versus Nova. Like, come on, where do you see that at a young age? Balls Mahoney, of course, I was a friend of his too. You know, so growing up, you know, till he asked for his Percocet, and I didn't have anything on me.
Yeah, I've been in that situation before with wrestlers.
yes, yeah. The shitty Shindy Carney shows we used to have. Just would actually, that's where Joey was. Actually, that's how I met Joey Janela when I was young. At 16 years old. At 16 years old, he was wrestling for it was called National Wrestling Superstars.
Yeah, NWS. Yep.
You know, just a local Carney promotion who just the guy kept on bringing guys over back and back. You know, it's just the same wrestlers over and over, and then people just got tired of it. Just it was crazy. He'd always call me every Saturday. Are you going to be at my show? No, you know what I mean? Like demanding, you know, to get my money. You know, no. But
Joey at 16 doing that. Yeah,
this pogo stick thing and just goofy and just you know, just to where he is now. He's doing what he loves to do, you know, just wrestle, just doing his thing, you know.
Not many people like Joey.
Huh? Not
many people love it like Joey does.
No, man. And you know, we know how it's a work right now. He likes it's people, you know, people don't know.
He riles people up. It cracks me up. It really does.
I just saw a tweet. I just saw the tweet that Booker T just put out. Did you see that?
Yep, I did.
I'm like, really? Come on, Booker. You got anything better than
Booker always has weird opinions and stuff, and I'm like, dude, like,
yeah,
I don't know. He reminds me of like Cornette in a way. Like he's always just picking on whatever the hot topic is, and
yeah, it's like, do we even hear about his name no more? We really don't.
I know, and that's the thing. It's like I feel like he's maybe trying to grasp for some relevance still.
Mm-hmm. It's like in a couple of weeks I have a friend of mine. He's a publisher, John Cosper, and he did the Madman Pondo book. He did Chris Candido's book, and a whole bunch of other people. And you know, there's a picture. He showed me the picture of Jim Cornette. I'm like, and he said, yeah, he's corny. Yeah, I know. I'll never forget the time I went to Pennsylvania with my dad, and we went to a convention, Wrestle Reunion 2, it was called. And it was like a meet and greet and then wrestling at night. Jim Cornette was there. So I talked with him, and he was telling me the story about how he fell off the scaffold, you know, and broke his leg. When he broke his ankle, you know, in the Starcade match. I mean, that was history, though. But I got to meet the Rock and Roll Express. You know, everybody who was Harley Race to the legends. You know, like it was really like a Bobby Heenan before, still had like looking thin. You know.
Damn, I know Bobby. That was so rough to see, like him just kind of fall apart. And he was Bobby was one of the first people at a wrestling convention that took notice of my art. And I had never done a convention before, and I was doing this one up in Rhode Island, and my table was like a couple away from Bobby, maybe even right next to, but there was stuff in between us where we weren't really talking much, and I had done a painting of him that I was selling at the show because I knew he'd be there, thinking somebody else would buy it and then have him sign it. So the convention was ending, and I saw him leaving, and I hadn't said anything to him just because I was so nervous. And my buddy was like, yo, go get that signed. You're going to regret it. So his wife was there, and I ended up talking to her. And he would talk, and his wife like kind of understood like his hand gestures and stuff, and was able to communicate what he was trying to say. And so he signed my painting, and then he had me do another painting that I sent to him for him to have, because like he asked for it. And that was like the moment when I was like, man, like if Bobby Heenan would like my work, then maybe I should be trying to do this more. And it really gave me like the biggest confidence boost that day. So Bobby Heenan will always be like somebody I hold truly close, just for that moment.
Yeah, there's wrestlers that it's like Mick Foley, such a nice guy, man. I've talked to him at so many conventions over the years, and my dad, we just talked to him. He's a great guy. One of those guys that just talk to you for your ear off.
Yeah.
About just,
No,
and then
Foley,
you go out. Yeah.
Great dude.
One that he always says he's going to quit Twitter, but I don't think he's just joshing.
I hope not, because he's
God, yeah.
He's such a positive person. He's just always hyping people up. Like, and even when he doesn't like something, he doesn't like trash it. Like he voices an honest opinion about it,
And going back to like watching wrestling, I remember going to this one promotion at a high school gym, and he had that was like my first experience with hardcore wrestling. Mick Foley versus Eddie Gilbert.
Whoa.
With the trash can. I'm sitting up in the bleachers with the metal, like a regular trash can, or, the time, just to see his side of Cactus Jack, like, my God, I got to see Foley as Cactus Jack.
Yeah.
And then over the years, of course, pay-per-views, and just going to see him at the, on Raw and SmackDown. You're like, oh, I wish I could, but just to see him, like that's like a memory of the last, like that's like one of those moments that you're like, holy shit, I got to see. It's like me going also another, like I two great moments. Like my favorite moment, man, it was they had the wrestling promotion. It was called NFW, National Federation Superstar, NFW. I forgot what it was. Mid 80s. I got to see Bruiser Brody inside a steel cage.
Wow.
Like,
wow.
And Dr. D.
That's something not many people could even say,
And Dr. D. David Schultz. Like,
wow.
That's, I know, right? It's like, and my guy actually, my friend, the author, actually just did a book on him too as well, which is really cool.
Yeah, Foley's. I've got to meet him a couple of times, just doing extra work, and this one time we were doing extra work, and he was there. I had a sports coat on with a tie-dye shirt underneath, just because I was trying to stay in character a little, and he was wearing the same thing, and I was like, "Yo, I'm pretty sure we're going to be the only two people wearing a sport coat with the tie-dye shirt." And he's like, he told me a story of when he became Dude Love. The WWF gave him like just hundreds of tie-dye shirts, so like that's why you see him nowadays. He's almost always got a tie-dye shirt on, because like he just had so many extra tie-dye shirts.
Yeah, and I, growing up with those toys and figures and stuff, I never got a chance to really, but I still have like the loose ones. But then my friend found me like a double pack of him, and I got it when he came to the AC. I had it signed. I was like, this is awesome. I have to have a piece of his, of him.
Yeah.
But the shirt, but we still have the Wanted Dead or Alive shirts, and his original. Like, I want to still go back online. You can still find the old school one that he wore. The Cactus Jack one. That's still out there for like eBay or wherever. T-shirts.com or whatever. I don't know.
Probably a couple $100 now for an original one.
Yeah. But like, what do you, music-wise in wrestling, man? Are you do you like all the music? That's I want to show you something about music as well. I'll promote this guy's book while we're there, because this was another guy that I got to be a part of when I had him on the podcast, and we became good friends. I never got the chance to meet him, but his name was JJ McGuire, and he wrote all the themes for the original WWF back in the heyday.
Oh, whoa.
All with Jimmy Hart, as the Gentrys. Is that insane?
Like, so he did like like Hogan's theme and stuff like that? Or
Yes, he did Superfly Snuka.
wow,
He did Demolition.
yeah, those are like the
The
classic.
Shawn Michaels
Yeah.
theme. He was telling me, my friend was telling me that he was going to release a Razor Ramon, but it never went through for the WWE, the WWF.
I wonder what that would have sounded like.
But to talk to like a guy and he did the TV show Thunder in Paradise. Like, come on, where do you? That's like badass. Like,
Yeah.
We just became good friends with this guy, and
Oh, nice.
He passed away, and it was like, he had just enjoyed his music,
Yeah.
He's out, JJ, it was cool to see him. But
wrestling music is such a unique thing because it encompasses like such a time period, and you hear a theme and you could instantly take it back to like what year it was, or what the character was doing at the time, and it's cool to see like a AEW's guy Mikey Ruckus kind of taking the reins as a younger guy, doing the same thing, and he's made some memorable ones so far. People recognize his themes, and I like what he's doing.
It's so cool. Like, and I wish I was there for the day that my friend had him down in Daytona, Florida, where my friend lives. They did a anniversary of their podcast, like the 100th year, and he was a guest and played music for them, and it presented them with an award. I sent out an award to give to my friends, and JJ signed it for them and gave it to them. It was great. But then to have his autograph, a real autograph, I mean, before the guy died, like wherever the camera is,
Oh, wow.
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
I know, like, to treasure something like that, and his career. If you're a book reader, I'll recommend this to you after.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love reading up on wrestling history. I mean, right in front of me. I got a couple. Yeah, this.
Oh, cool.
Promised you a great main event. Professional wrestling through comics. Well,
yeah,
I love that one. I was a teenage pro wrestler, which is this one's great too because the guy in here, he was an artist too, as well as a professional wrestler. So,
oh, cool.
Yeah,
I'll have to write the name of that for me down later.
Yeah, it's a good one. My fiance's father, who's also an artist, got that for me. I had never heard of the guy, so it was cool. I was like, somebody was doing it before I was doing it.
I wonder if my sister could get me a copy of that. She's in publishing.
I'll send it to you. It's a smaller book, but it's a cool little piece. I think you'd like it for sure.
Yeah. Or just write the title down. I'll look it up. I'll go to Barnes and Nobles. They'll probably pick it up.
Yeah.
But books are it's amazing. Like, I still have Diamond Dallas Page's book when he did that book, Chris Jericho's book when he did his book, Harley Race's book. I mean, Foley's.
I was gonna say Foley. Have a Nice Day. Like, that remains one of my favorite books ever because it was just during a certain time of like my height of loving wrestling, and he was like the first big wrestler that I knew to release a book during that time, and it blew up too. Like, your #1 Times bestseller. Like, that's crazy. Mick Foley, the guy getting thrown off Hell in a Cell, writing books.
And then Chris Jericho's book, of course, Walls of Jericho. That was the book.
Yeah.
Everyone out. He did actually. I remember it was like a Q&A session, like just talking, just telling us stories about his career. It was cool. Like, just inside stuff you never knew about him.
Yeah.
Not even in the book,
And that was before like even the internet was like as popular as it was. So getting the insider stuff, nowadays it's easy, but books were kind of the first thing that wrestlers kind of opened up and shared some shoot stuff and broke character.
And I still need to buy a copy of John's book, Moxley's. I still need that book.
I haven't read that. I've heard great things though.
I want to see what that's a good like trip book to read, just to travel.
Yeah. Especially him coming out of WWE and bottling up all these emotions and releasing them. So you're right. I should probably read that one too.
Mm-hmm. Look at that. We have some stuff covered this week. People, go out and buy a book. You know, we're going to support these guys.
I know. I love hearing that you're a book reader too, because books aren't everyone's cup of tea. So it's good to know other people are reading too.
No, if you can't read it, go on an audio. You know, audio or whatever the hell it is.
Audiobooks are great.
Yeah,
my fiance just started downloaded an audiobook app, and she's read or listened to like so many more books than she would normally do, because you're walking around and it's hard to sit down and take hours to read a book. So if you're listening to one throughout your day,
throw your headphones on and just go wireless and just sit in Starbucks or wherever cafe and just read up a good book. You really don't see that anymore though. If you notice at a cafe, at a Starbucks, or they're always on their laptops. They're always doing business. Everybody's doing business work or school work.
I was gonna say it's more like a workplace now than sitting and reading.
Yeah. But there were coffee shops like that. There still are. I think out there, library coffee shops, or
Yeah.
I don't know. Barnes and Nobles, they still have that. I think.
Yeah. I was gonna say more like kind of small local coffee shops. I feel like you see more people kind of chilling and just sitting with a book or drawing a little,
Do you remember? Do you ever like going to coffee shops?
Yeah. Nowadays, there's not really one close by, but there was one when I first moved to Denver that was like right down the road, and I'd go ride my bike, get a coffee, sit down for a little bit.
My uncle lived in Connecticut. Right, and what is it? Where did he live? Actually, near Greenwich, and he opened up a coffee shop. Didn't last that long, just to try the business. I thought it was really neat because you would see all the grind. He would actually bought the all the antique coffee grinders and just just a cool little building, man. And just to see people coming in, like, hello, how are you? Like your normal crowd.
Yeah, no, I like the guy that ran the place. We got to know each other. He'd always recognize me when I come in. Coffee shops are great meeting people.
And there's a really cool one whenever I go to Vail. Now I like when I go to Vail, Colorado. It's called the I forget what the name of it, but it's right on the mountain there. It's like right in the shops. It's a little nice. It's got like a Chili Willy kind of monster figure or whatever, but it just looked really cool. And it's like, all right, I'm gonna go back there.
I almost went to Vail this past weekend for the lead guitar player of Fish was up here. But it was snowing real bad this past weekend up here. So
yes, my cousin lives in has a house in actually I love to tell the story. My cousin found a widowed lady's house on eBay.
Whoa.
ranch style house in La Veta, Colorado. Beautiful.
Whoa, that's like one of those lucky finds where it's for whoever finds it first.
Right in the middle of land, farmland, Spanish Peaks right behind it. Can you? Yeah, it's like
I love it out here. I mean, the views are.
That's really where that's where my mom's from. She grew up in Walsenburg, Colorado, which is a nice little area. People don't really go toward it. Yeah, beautiful area. But and I just heard she was just telling me today we just did a poll for her school. My grandfather was a principal at a high school, and I'm changing the name. It was called the John Mall High School. Now it's going to be called the Walsenburg. They screwed. It's bad. You know what I mean? That sucks.
Yeah.
That's like it's been in the family for years. John Mall. Because he was the principal.
History. Yeah.
I know. Yeah, history there with his family, because it's amazing. We do. My uncle does the genealogy on my mom. They do a lot. My mom does a lot of the family tree. It's amazing, Like on our history of family in Germany to how they grew up. In the Depression, just everything. It's amazing. And which is really cool. Also, we have land in Russell Gulch, up in the mountains.
Oh, okay.
It's like up there. It's people don't even realize it's the hippie commune area. Isn't that cool? Like it's like that. It's like that casino up in the mountain there.
Yep.
As well. That small little rundown, 5 casinos right on the side of the mountain. People don't even know about.
Yeah.
Hidden gems, you know.
There's a lot to discover around here too.
There is, and I want to get back out there. You know, I probably will next summer. I just want to go visit cousins and.
It's hard traveling right now. I was just we're going home next month for a couple of weddings, and flights have like doubled in price. Like,
yeah,
it sucks because I wanted to come home more this year, and it's not going to happen because prices are too much.
Yeah, but they just had some. You had some snow. You're like, oh man, this is like, you weren't expecting that, huh? I know.
Weather is like. You know, it snowed, but the next day it was 90 degrees, and you wouldn't have known it snowed because it melts away so quick.
Did you ever pick up a pair of skis or a snowboard?
Yeah, I got a snowboard. Me and my fiance go every now and then. It just my knees are like pretty shot from wrestling, and like squatting down like that, like. I go down a mountain like
I think
two or three times and I'm done.
That's yeah. My dad took the old twist the ankle and that's it. He's no more.
Yeah.
I'm a retired snowboarder too. So,
it's scary. Like I don't know. I've gone a bunch of times now, but I'm still not like fully comfortable.
No.
I like going down. I like the experience, but it's just I think my body's just like. So wrecked from wrestling, like doing something like that I could do for a short period of time.
During the day, I'm a garbage man, so like a laborer on a metal truck, and it's like, and it's like, I can't.
That's a lot of getting up and down too. Lifting.
Do I have it with me? Another piece of history. Two pieces of history. I like showing stuff. Well, my friend is a collector.
Chairs,
huh?
You got some chairs?
Yes. Okay. My coworker worked on the metal truck and picked at somebody's house. They were throwing stuff away in their garage. He goes out to his garage. Hey, anybody who would want this chair with Mick?
Whoa.
I was like, oh, holy shit! The heavy duty chairs from back in the day, and it's all bent up, and that's like classic, right? Like you don't see the thick cup, Look at
that cushion, yeah. I can't believe people just toss those.
No, you think back then that would been like kept good, but it's still in good shape. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I would never sell it. I'm not going to sell it. You know what I mean?
I've got a steel chair signed by it's signed by Too Cool, Kurt Angle, Rikishi, Taz, Kevin Nash, Mick Foley, RVD, and Chris Benoit. And it's
This is an original, man, from Balls Mahoney. Can you read that?
Signed and everything, awesome.
I know. Is that like
with the gold pen? That's dope. I love that.
Isn't that cool? That was that promotion in my area in the 80s, in the mid 90s. He did a lot of shows out of there, hardcore matches with his who was it? Harley Lewis, I guess his name, but Harley Lewis was like a local guy. Then the Dudley boy, Dick Dudley, was a local all the time. He'd be at the shows.
I used to see Big Dick Dudley in Connecticut a lot. He would always be traveling, doing the small like no name indies with like fucking like Dave Mysterio and like all those local indie guys.
Yeah, it's so crazy. I'll tell you the story behind Balls Mahoney. I love telling the story. How I was 18 years old. I worked in the dollar store, and this guy comes walking in. I'm stocking shelves, and I didn't know what like hardcore ECW really was,
Yeah.
And they said, this guy's a wrestler. He's on TV. What? No way. Like, I got this, my first like hardcore experience to see like an ECW original, like
Mm-hmm.
because next door was big and tall.
Did you even go there?
No, Public Enemy would go over there and buy their clothes.
Oh, okay.
I guess from Philly they would have to. Must have taken a trip to Jersey once in a while, because Ball's from Asbury, So
that's awesome.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Like sometimes, or not Asbury, but Nutley and Asbury, but they're two different. Isn't that crazy though? Like just 18 years old, I'm signing. He's signing a little piece of paper. Balls Mahoney,
Yeah.
Like, could I get your autograph? And then he talked to me. Hey man, come see me in some shows. We do this NWS wrestling and others.
It's funny thinking about that. Just like he was just an indie guy, trying to make it. Just like, please come to the show. Like, probably not making any money and.
No, and Chris Candido, of course, as well, was a great. I'm friends with his brother's still living. Shout out to him. He released the book as well. The Candido book.
Nice.
I got to talk to him and get him on the podcast soon. I need to get in contact with him because he's a great dude. He was a wrestler too. He just didn't do it for a long run, just a little run. With Joey, he did the same promotion. But he got his name out there. He did get to go to the ECW arena and wrestle, with his brother.
Yeah, no.
I got to see him at his prime, Candido really just like me before he got real big and, just.
Candido was awesome.
He was a character. But now you look in the paper and you see all the press about what's her name. And it's like, oh, really? She can't control her habit of drinking.
No.
Sorry to say.
I was gonna say, just like I'm kind of glad she got locked up because she just she would have hurt herself or
she stole. You know how much money Johnny's told me she stolen a lot of money from Chris over the years.
Yeah,
well, I would see that.
So, yeah.
Oh yeah, but now she has that new boyfriend. She's sucking him in. We know that.
I have no idea who she's even with nowadays.
It's on the video. They just TMZ or whatever just posted her the news conference with her. I'm like, some beefy, built up guy.
He's a wrestler.
Looks like a lot like some sort of like gym buff guy,
Okay, yeah.
But whatever,
Yeah, no, I mean she made her own grave. Her karma is going to come around,
It will. But getting back to the music part of wrestling, like we were saying, what are you listening to right now? What's your music you're into, like as your entrance theme or like your, what do you come out to? Current
my character being like the psychedelic warrior, I've always wanted to use like some sort of jam band music like the Fish or Grateful Dead, but none of it really works too well as entrance music. So my most recent one that I used was Do the Evolution by Pearl Jam. And it just has a great build up, and then it's very fitting of me. I used it at Beyond Wrestling the last time I was there. So I've been using that, and before that it was a band called Them Crooked Vultures, who is a Queens of the Stone Age. They're like kind of like a spin-off band of that. So I've been using those. I've used Hendrix over the years. Hendrix fit me good too. Yeah. But
yeah, I can see the Pearl Jam because the your artistic side of, and like how his his career as a guy, singer, and he's awesome.
I've always liked his energy.
I believe I see them. I think I see them once or twice. I can't remember. I've seen them once. I could have seen them.
Over the years,
yeah.
But I mean, Fish is my love for Fish. I make it known on Twitter and everything, probably more, just as much as wrestling and art. But that's a band that's really helped me creatively and just as a person. I've seen them, over 100.
That's like Spider Nate Webb and Wheatus, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Yeah. Fish is my Wheatus.
yeah. And to see somebody like that, it's badass, you know? It's so cool. What you current watching any good movies lately or anything? I don't watch any good. I have been just like binging like old cabin movies.
I'm a big horror fan, so
Yeah.
usually like when I'm drawing, I'll have something on in the background. Some people listen to music. I like having something on in the background. I don't know why, but so I've been going through like Amazon Prime and just like watching like the worst horror movies. That's what I've been doing lately. Is like not mainstream stuff, just like stuff where I'm like, what is this gonna be? And you come across some funny ones. You come across some gems sometimes. Most of the time, it's horrible, but that's what I've been doing is watching bad horror movies lately.
Cool. Like, what's the last one? Name them.
God, I don't even pay attention to the names because like I just put it on and then let it play.
Play in the background.
I can't even tell you.
Blood of the Bat or some sort of let's just say that Blood of the Bat.
You know, like Death House or like this house is haunted. So just some generic stuff.
I found a movie one time. I forget where it was, but the one with Madman Pondo in it.
Okay. I don't know if I've ever come across that.
I'll find it for you, and that's one of those ones to look at. Yeah.
Yeah.
We
got a list of books and movies we got to trade after this.
Yeah. And what do you call it? Who else? Of course, G Raver when he was in the Zombies versus Wrestlers.
Okay.
Did you see that movie ever? Yeah or no?
I don't think so.
That had Piper in it. That had.
Yeah. No, I remember seeing like trailers and videos from it, but like I never saw the movie.
I thought that was cool because G Raver was just coming into wrestling, like, you know what I mean, like as himself, getting used as a movie extra. Like, come on, that's so cool.
I love seeing carryover from wrestling and movies. There's a lot of similarities, so it makes sense that people would get into acting. But I love seeing it.
That's like The Wrestler, that famous movie.
Yeah,
like I always talk about how I had my 15 minutes of fame sitting in the crowd, ringside at the Jersey All Pro Arena down in Rahway, with Big Fat Frank when he made that phone call. That guy, Bruce Randy was doing it. It was just great experience. And then going outside, having my cigarette, and I should have got a picture with Mickey. Mickey Rourke would have been awesome.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That movie was so wild at the time, just like how it involved independent wrestling and showed, all these companies for what they were.
And it was cool. And then I didn't realize that was the Hammerstein Ballroom. I didn't realize that
I know, right?
Ring of Honor show, that little ring, that the ending match was like the Ring of Honor, like, holy shit, that's so Hammerstein Ballroom, and I was like, wow, I was there for like ECW's One Night Stand too,
Yeah, I know.
We're
seeing some crazy shows there.
Yeah,
I saw Nakamura versus Kevin Steen there. That was I think it was like War of the Worlds or something. That was a really cool show.
I'll tell you what, man. I used to go to the Ring of Honor when they were at Edison, New Jersey, and Hammerstein Ballroom. Of course, I was there for a couple like anniversary shows and final battles. Like, I got to see like the Claudio Castagnoli and as him and Chris Hero, as the kings of wrestling.
Yeah,
Kevin Steen, El Generico. Just like the
Briscoe. That was a good era of wrestling.
Nigel McGuinness, Nigel when he was not. Nigel when Nigel was Nigel, Daniels was Daniels, Brian Daniels, Samoa Joe, of course, he's Homicide, and just everybody. Carino. I remember I got to see this. I got to see the bleach spot. When Homicide did to Steve
Yeah.
Corino. Yeah. So
Yeah, that feud was crazy. I saw them in Connecticut, and like Homicide like slapped him and like messed up his ear real bad. That was a cool show. I forget what show that was, but yeah, their feud was really cool.
Yeah, and just like Jersey All Pro, Ring of Honor was a big part of them. Like, they had all the stars, and I look back and I sent a post out to SAT, and when they were at Atlantic City, and they faced Briscoe's Teddy Hart Homicide in a like an 8-way dance. It's on the 8th year anniversary of Jersey All Pro.
Yep, I remember that show.
And I was there for that with Bam Sullivan. Bam
Margera.
Bam Margera was there. His dad was there. It was cool, just to see that.
I don't remember that. That's awesome.
No, yeah, and that's it. And to this day, just wrestling's wrestling. It's just good stuff.
I was just watching the Jackasses actually. Speaking of Bam,
were you? I might have to watch that. After this, give me something to do. But anyway, Dave, let's call it a night. This was awesome. Let's do this again down the line.
I know. No, this was great. We've interacted for so many years now. Yeah. And it's good to finally get this first one out of the way because now we could do it more often. I appreciate you for having me.
Absolutely. You're it's just fun, and maybe I'll nail my friend. I'll talk to my friend and get you involved. He's pretty active from Daytona. He loves to chat it up. So when he can, awesome. in his free time, and of course maybe I'll see you down the road. Of course we will eventually. Yeah, I
know. If I'm ever making my way back east to Jersey,
I'll let you know. Yep. But where can everybody follow you? Right here on all your social media, right? And
yep, all that is good. Davey Painting. In the Dave Cole Dojo.
That's it. Davey, I want to say thank you for coming on and have a good night, my friend.
Thank you, brother.
Yep. All right. And fans, check it out next week. June. No, not June. May. Oh, God, see, I'm bad with my dates. I'm still getting back on my calendar.
Almost June.
Yeah, almost June. But, I'm looking at my calendar actually right here. June 30th. I will be having the author and co-writer. He's a historian of wrestling. The one that John Cosper, he's done a whole bunch of books, and he's got a couple new releases that we're going to be talking about. And I'm looking forward to talking about his upcoming books that he's been working on, and old books as well, and catch up and just do great conversation to catch up. And then I believe after that, June 6th, actually, I do have a podcast. With Darwin Finch will be on the podcast. I'm looking forward to talking to him. He's a pro wrestler, and he actually wrestled in Chikara one time, I believe.
Oh, okay.
So it's cool. That's going to be a cool conversation.
Nice.
That's it. Have a good night, everybody. Till then, tune in, support wrestling, like always, on the Deathmatch Wrestle podcast. Good night, everybody. I need to close myself out. How to get out of here.
You can find more Deathmatch Wrestle podcast on the following. Just hit the like button and share. You can hear the audio portion of Deathmatch Wrestle podcast on Stitcher Radio and on iTunes. Social media, Deathmatch Wrestle podcast on Facebook, Twitter at DavidNJ32, Instagram, DavidNJ36, YouTube, David C. Russell, and DeathmatchWrestlePodcast.com. Podcast City Network, your top source for independent podcasting. Be creative, be yourself. PodcastCity.net. Facebook, Podcast City Network. Twitter at Podcast City Net. Deathmatch Wrestle Podcast merchandise available. PodcastCity.net/shop. Joner's Wrestling Podcast Network. Head over to WrestlingWithJoners.com. Follow them on Facebook, Joner's Wrestling Podcast Network. Twitter at with Joner's Lower Score Pod. I want to mention Collar and Elbow. collarandelbowbrand.com. Use the promo code DeathmatchWrestlePodcast and save 10% off when you make a purchase. Deathmatch Wrestle Podcast.